Good morning and thanks for joining us. Your time is 6 o'clock. I'm Jenna Middaugh in for Rebecca Hager today.
I'm Adam Atchison.
Hoping we can keep the streak of no crashes going.
Right, I know.
11 News reporter Melissa Henry is live inside the museum. And Melissa, you've been showing us a lot of cool displays. What's behind you right now? This is developing. More school districts in Colorado Springs are postponing their start date. These are the start dates we know right now, though they could change. District 11 has now delayed its start date by a week. It's now August 24th. Elementary and middle school students will show up in person. High school students will split the time between in-person and e-learning. District 12 is also postponing its start date by a week until August 26th. Kindergarten through 6th grade kids in that district will be able to meet in person for classes. Middle and high school age students will do remote learning until September 10th. And District 14 will have all students return on August 21st. Now we know that's a lot of information. We have it all on the homepage of our website. Just go to KKTV.com. Looking ahead now, Denver Public Schools will start the year with online learning only. That phase will continue at least through mid-October due to the coronavirus pandemic. The district superintendent says the decision was made with all students in mind.
Of planning for the return of school in the middle of a pandemic.
The superintendent says they are working on a plan to get small groups of students identified as high priority back to in-person as soon as possible. Some parents have pushed back on the decision, saying the most important thing going forward is that students receive a quality education. Looking ahead now, the World Food Program is estimating Latin America and the Caribbean are set to see a 269% rise in the number of people facing food insecurity. The WFP is now estimating that up to 16 million people will be affected in the coming months. The main worry is, of course, the COVID-19 pandemic. Another concern is hurricane season. It's expected to be more active than normal and brings extra risks and strain on overburdened social protection systems. Conflict over a controversial local statue has reached a boiling point. Coming up on 11 News, the next step the city is taking to try to resolve the issue and save taxpayers money. Colorado Parks and Wildlife say a third of all bear reports in our state involved trash last year. 11 News reporter Kasha Carriage joins us live now from Red Rock Canyon Open Space, where bears are known to be around. Kasha, trash brings bears closer to interacting with people, which can turn dangerous.
KKTV 11 News.
All good reminders this morning. Thank you, Kasha. This is developing. Work is being done to solve some of the conflict that's happening over a Christopher Columbus statue. Pueblo is trying to hire a mediator to hear from people on both sides of the issue. Weekly protests have cost the city $65,000 because of extra police staffing. The mayor of Pueblo says a mediation professional will cost the city less money than continued protests. He says he already found someone who would be perfect for the job. The city and protesters are expected to sit down with the mediator next week to hopefully come to a conclusion. New this morning, Speaker Nancy Pelosi announced new rules requiring all House members and staff to wear a mask when they're inside the House. Anyone who arrives without a mask will be given one. The toughened rules come after Texas Republican Louis Gohmert became the 10th member of Congress with a confirmed case of the coronavirus. Gohmert had been scheduled to fly aboard Air Force One with President Trump to Texas for a fundraiser. Gohmert did spend time with Attorney General William Barr at a congressional hearing on Tuesday. Barr tested negative for COVID yesterday. Voters in Colorado Springs could see a couple of different questions about parks on the ballot. Just ahead, what those questions are and what would happen if they're both approved. New this morning, officials in Louisville are expected to turn over secure radio communications. These are between police officers from before, during, and after the March raid in which Breonna Taylor was shot and killed by police inside her own apartment. According to local TV station WDRB, a judge ordered those to be turned over yesterday. Attorneys for Taylor's family told the judge those conversations could determine which officers were at Taylor's apartment during the raid. So far, police have identified 3 officers who conducted the raid and say they were not wearing body cameras. Yeah, let's take a live look outside. It's a beautiful start to the day. Look at that sun rising on the mountains. Sydney will have a full look at your forecast and traffic coming up at 6:30. Welcome back to 11 News this morning. I'm Jenna Middaugh in for Rebecca Hager. In just a few hours, people will be allowed through the doors at the new Olympic and Paralympic Museum for the first time.
We need to get right over to Melissa Henry. She's live, I think, outside the museum this morning.
A lot of people are excited to get inside, myself included. Thanks, Melissa. We are still following this 11 breaking weather alert. People in Puerto Rico are making preparations as a tropical storm approaches. Isaias became the 9th named storm of 2020 as it neared the Leeward Islands late last night. In response, island residents have been gassing up their cars and gathering supplies. Tropical storm warnings are up for all of Puerto Rico, the U.S. Virgin Islands, and the British Virgin Islands. Meteorologist Cindy Jackson joins us now with more. Happening today, Representative John Lewis will be laid to rest. Coming up, what 3 former U.S. presidents are expected to attend and who's giving the eulogy. And let's give you a live look outside. We've got another check of weather, traffic, and all your headlines coming up after the break. This is also happening today. Federal agents are expected to start leaving Portland after weeks of protests. The announcement was made by the governor yesterday morning, but just hours later, hundreds of people gathered in downtown to protest police brutality and systemic racism. Fires were even set in the area. Federal officers told people to leave around midnight our time before they fired tear gas. You can see police surrounding several people here. Now, according to our sister station in Portland, arrests were made. Happening today, U.S. Representative John Lewis will be laid to rest. The civil rights pioneer's funeral will be held at Atlanta's Ebenezer Baptist Church. We're going to take a live look from Atlanta right now at the church. We showed you just about 30 minutes ago as they were walking his casket into the church. Now, there are several presidents that are expected to attend the funeral service for the late congressman, including former President Barack Obama, who reports say will be giving the eulogy at the funeral today. Other presidents who will be there will be George W. Bush, Bill Clinton. They'll be participating in the service as well. And today's funeral marks the last of 6 days of memorial ceremonies in Lewis's honor.
We expect that they will run coverage of the funeral right around 8:45, 9 o'clock this morning, so you may not see 11 News at 9 because of that coverage. But you'll see it right here on 11 News this morning. We'll cover the whole thing.
Yeah, and we'll have cut-ins starting for you right around 7:25.
Have a great day, everyone.